Welcome to the top 10 covers in my collection. This is the top 10 romance covers. Can you hear my heartbeat? I'm sure you can. Got this cool art of Dan DeCarlo, Innocence and Seduction art book. I don't have too much of a, he's known for kind of Betty and Veronica, Archie type of stuff, really cool stuff. There's Innocence and Seduction in here. Sample his work. Really good stuff. I don't have a lot of this. I have more, I don't know if you call those gag books, but I have more romance proper, but not to say that that stuff's not great. It's probably like Showgirls or something. What else could we show? I don't know. So romance books, kind of maligned, not a lot of, not highly collected. There's a ton of different titles. We'll go through some of them. Everybody, all the publishers made them. Anyway, I can't think, for one, but I can't think and multitask, do two things at once. So, top 10 romance books. We'll do honorable mentions. These are a couple of the more well-known books that didn't make my top 10. This is Young Love 49 from 1965. This is a really cool John Romita Sr. cover. Great green trade dress on the purple background. These are always great. They're so dramatic. That's one thing I love about them is how dramatic they are. I don't know where I should put my fangs. This is another very well-known one. J. Scott Pike cover, Young Romance, number 150 from, 1968? 67? No, I can't remember. This is a classic, iconic cover from the romance genre. But it did not make my top 10. I know. Isn't that wild? How could you? Anyway, let's do some honorable mentions. Of course, we got to show some Russ Heath. Russ Heath is known for has done two romance covers. This is one of them, My Own Romance, number 32, from 1953. And just the great work. Great flowers up here. Great dress. All of that. Classic romance book right there. But alas, it did not make my top 10. I know, pretty wild. Russ Heath didn't make it. From 1952, Girls' Romances, number 15. I think this is a great cover. Got all the GIs going off to war. She's sad. She would be sad. One thing I like about this era in the romance books is I don't want to say the fashion, but kind of, the gloves, the dresses. They're just fantastic. You don't see stuff like that. It's just a very neat and poignant image there. This I've claimed to be a hipster, and I love how ridiculous this is. This is a John Buscema. This is Queen size special. My Love number 1. The wind is howling. How can I live without love? How can I live without love? It's a great John Buscema. His shirt is open, flapping in the wind. Fantastic. And then there's lots of different kind of, like with any sort of collecting. Here's just a 1995 Frank Frazetta Untamed romance from Fantagraphics. But there's a lot of subgenre collecting in romance. There's just a lot of different ways you can go. Like I said, there's the Dan DeCarlo, kind of I don't want to say gag book, but more cartoony style. Show some of this Frank Frazetta art. This is put out by Fantagraphics. That's one thing I think that people who have no interest in romance books don't know is, Frank Frazetta worked in it. Alex Toth worked in it. J. Scott Campbell's known for his work. There's John Buscema. John Romita Sr. is very well known for his romance. We'll go through some other heavier hitters. Anyway, we won't look at everything, but how are we not going to look at Frank Frazetta? I mean, come on. Look at that. Don't like romance books, huh? Anywho, I digress. We are moving on to the top 10-ish books. There they go. Ah! All right, I have a top 10-ish, and I couldn't figure out which one of these to put in. Does he have to be the Toth? I don't know. All right, we got some cool books here. We'll just start over here. We have a Lover's 42 from 1952. Don't know who does the cover on this. Jerry Robinson does some art. Carmine Infantino does some art. Like, here we go, names, right? And an Atlas book, too. I just really like this, the color gradient down with her dress. The colors on that. You'll kind of see I like clinch covers, I think they're called. Kissing covers. It's nice, it's sweet. This one's a hot, steamy one. I think this has to do, if you look, kind of an elderly, not an elderly crowd, but, a youth has passed them by crowd in the background. And here's a uptown gal with a dockside worker, kind of, his shirt's ripped. This is Alex Toth, by the way. Probably against her own doings. Looks like she's in a dive. This is Girls' Romances, number 13, from 1951. Really cool cover. That one might take the cake. Colors are nice on here. I like the colors on here. They do pop, and it is Alex Toth, and this is a great Vince Colletta. I like when, kind of like the guys lifting the girl up, and those are always cool. So this looks like kind of like a varsity sweater, high school. Another thing that's, again, the fashion's great. The big pearls with that sweater, hair's a pop-in. This is a great Vince Colletta cover. He's also a well-known romance cover artiste. The hair's great. Baker-esque, I'd say. I think he did work with Baker. So I think sometimes, too, it'll be like Matt Baker or Vince Colletta, and who knows. But this is My Own Romance 42 from 1957. We're going to call those three number 10 because I couldn't narrow it down. These aren't in the hard top 10 either. They're just 10 great covers from my collection. This is a cool Mike Sikowski cover. Girls' Romances, number 30. What's this from? 1955. This is, you'll see this a lot. I like the colors in this one, the kind of muted pastel colors. A trope, a common image you'll see are these masked balls. They're always doing masked balls. I've never been to one. They were all the rage in shoot, what's that Italian city? I don't know. I'm thinking like Edgar Allan Poe or something, right? I don't know. Anyway, masked balls are a trope in romance books. Again, you can just tell there is drama happening. Masquerade, there you go. I could never reveal the secret in my hidden heart. So, super cool. Like all that. Like the colors on that one. It's fun. Mike Sikowski. All right, so this, I think, they're not sure who did it, but it probably is true. This is J. Scott Pike cover. This one I like a little more than the Young Romance. This is a bit of a trope. I like the blown up face, these big tears, like on that Young Romance. You'll see that a lot. I don't know, I just like the rendering on this one. I think it's just done a little bit better to my liking. There's word bubbles in the background. People maybe take away a little bit from that and the reflection in the glasses. I don't know, but I just think that she's done, I don't know, they're both great, right? All these tropes, people not being good enough, she looks like she's well off. She's Not Good Enough for Him. What's this from? 1967. Just a really nice cover there. This one I really like. It's from 1958. I don't think they know who did this cover either. I just really like this cover for some reason. I like silhouettes, I like shadow, I like light. The color is great. Did I say what this is from? From 1958. Romantic Adventures. My Romantic Adventures from ACG, number 92. It's just great. I tend to like I said, the dramatic ones. There's people crying. A big trope in romance books is kind of the love triangle. Usually somebody's on the outs. We're battling over somebody because obviously the drama ensues. But I tend more toward the lovey-dovey ones. But just look at this. This is great. A fantastic cover. All right. Speaking of lovey-dovey ones, sometimes they get a little hot and steamy. Like in this Al Hartley. Al Hartley's another name. He does a lot of great work too. This Love Romances 29 from 53. I'd like an upgrade of this one. You don't see it too often. Passionately Necking. It's kind of pre-code, kind of code. Soft code. Are we calling that something? Moons in the Sky is another thing that's very fun. Palm trees, there's usually some sort of vegetation going on. Hair is usually awesome. Colors poppin'. So, this is another great one. Love Romances. Al Hartley. This is my one and only LB Cole. This is Popular Teenagers. What number is this? Number 11. Kind of an iconic cover. Filming this around Christmas, so that makes sense. It's timely. Here we got our vegetation, the green in the background. Judy signed it for us. Thank you, Judy. Star Comics, of course. LB Cole, a well-known guy. There's another Popular Teenagers book I'd like to have. He did Intimate, don't quote me, Intimate True Life Confessions, something I can't remember. There's another series that he's done. I think this is one of his better ones. This is from 1952. Isn't that great? Fantastic Christmas cover. All right. The last three are slabs. Again, there's not any real order. I just love the colors on this one. This is a Vince Colletta one. It's kind of simple, bold lines here, but just the colors. I mentioned it on another video. I like it, this deep blue. You can see the deep blue on that background. Got the moon in between them. Like I said, that's the trope. You got your vegetation. The hair is a poppin'. The red on her outfit. Just the colors are fantastic on this. It's a Boo 1.0, 1956. Mostly because it's ripped up off the top there. But it wasn't too expensive. And I figured that I'd have to pay more. What was I thinking? I don't know. I figured it wasn't too much money, even though it's a 1.0. It presents a lot better than a 1.0. And I figured I'd have to pay more money or about the same for a quote-unquote better grade, but that presented worse. This is Youthful Hearts from 1952. Youthful Magazines. It's just a cool cover. I don't know who did Goldfarb Bear, right? Something like that. Goldfarb Bear. There's your love triangle. She's looking on as those two embrace. Isn't that cool though? This guy over is that Vic Damone? That guy kind of ruins it. Thanks a lot, Vic. Thrilling Confessions, like the Blazing Red. It's a 4.5. Off-white to white pages from, again, 1952. Isn't that great? It's a great image there. Fantastic. Last but not least, there's a whole slew of these. There's a very famous Lovers, I think it's 49. There's a whole kind of slew of these rendered, overly rendered, if you'd want to say. Some of them kind of are. This is from 1954. This is a 5.5 off-white to white pages from Atlas, a Vince Colletta cover. I just think it's very neat, very well done. I like her big earring. And there again, we have our blue dress, the green tie, really popping out. But all this shading that you see, like I said, there's a handful of, maybe like 4 or so of these Lovers ones. J. Scott Pike did some, and then also Vince Colletta. I think the most famous one, like I said, I think it's 49. J. Scott Pike did that one. But I wouldn't mind having all of them, but they can be a bit pricey. I like the guy's blonde hair. We got the redhead. So just very well done. Like I said, there's a lot to like. The art's great. Some striking covers. Like I said, you can kind of be silly with the drama, or like that queen size special, you know, with the wind whipping, and a lot of it is very much like, you know, why doesn't he love me? Woe is me sort of stuff. But I kind of find that funny and intriguing, and just look at the, you know, fantastic stuff. Why wouldn't you want this? I mean, come on. It's beautiful stuff. Anyway, hey, tell me what you think. Do you have any romance books? Do you want any romance books now? There's a lot to choose from. Like I said, then there's the whole slew of Archie books, Betty and Veronica, and Millie the Model, Tilly Toiler, and all those sorts of fun things. But this is kind of the lane that I have found myself. You got to pick and choose. I wouldn't mind picking some of those up, but, you know, we all have our watch lists, and you have to make concessions and decisions along the way. Anyway, more books are on the way.